Let me see that. Hold that thought. And the time is 6:06. Okay, at this point, anyone wishing to speak on a public communication, you're welcome to come up here. Bree. Yes, sir.
We're ready.
Okay. All right.
Greg Tuttle, business owner. Couple things I wanted to sort of address with our budget here that we go through and how much money the city's wasting. One of the things is the public request, and the attorney it all has to go through the attorney, and the numerous letters that I get for one lousy request is usually 3 to 4 letters and a phone call. This is $250 an hour the city's paying for this stuff. We have a highly qualified city clerk that can handle this thing. Granted, he has to see that she can release that document, but these numerous letters we get and all the other stuff just delays everything and costs the city a lot of money. The other thing is that I would suggest that on our next fiscal budget that we also look into that the city manager oversees the directors on any contracts. I don't care how small it is. And then we have a sign-off of both people, not one person. That way one person can't be bullied. It's going to be the city manager, and that's his job too, is to oversee what the directors are doing. The other thing is the Sid Masabi contract went way overboard. And also we're having problems that Sid wants another 2 years. Sid is in every city that's in financial trouble right now. I can go Montebello, Bell, all the different areas. This guy's bad news. We have the people here, the staff, and if we don't, we need to get the people. We don't need outside sources. The city manager should observe all the projects that's going on. And when they're finished before final payment, he should be the sign-off person with the director. The other thing is the payout that the city does. Any normal business that does business, you pay 30 days from invoice date. You don't pay immediate pay to people like Sid Masabi that presents the bill before you people even have a time to review it. You need to start this process. It also gives you money in the bank for 30 days that you're getting interest on and working on that money. So it's a smart way to pay bills. It's a way to not have all the bills come in at one time and not have somebody rush you to pay bills. You pay a 30-day from invoice date. I think that's it.
Right, thank you. You made it on time. Were you about to say time?
Yeah. So it's like,
all right, anyone else wishing to speak? All right, now we'll go ahead and close public communication. This time we're going to go into the agenda. Well, first I want to do roll call. Sorry about that. I'm surprised Cruz didn't remind me. Okay.
okay. Councilmember Cruz Baca. Here. Councilmember Marga Garcia. Here. Councilmember Ricardo Pacheco.
He should be here shortly.
Mayor Pro Tem Susan Rubio. Present. Mayor Lozano.
Right, present. All right, thank you. At this point, we're going to open up the session for the proposed budget. One item is the CalPERS pension projection overview, and 2, the fiscal year 2017 and 18 proposed budget. So at this point, CEO? Yes,
yes, thank you. And Rose Tam, Finance Director, is going to give you a presentation on CalPERS. And I don't know if you're ready to go to fancy software, but also has some consultants here to help
Yes. Good evening, Mayor and City Council and everybody. And I'm going to present you the CalPERS projection tonight. And so in January, we received a notice from CalPERS that they're going to change the discount rate, which has something to do with the investment. Previously, the investment, the return is 7.5%, but at the end of 2016, the board had a meeting, then they decided that the projection will go down to 7% because of that, and it affects the pension costs. And with that projection, so the city, with all other agencies, that we based on their projection, we increase the normal contribution employer rate and also the unfunded liability from 2.5% to even up to 20-some%. As you may see, we from 9.26 and 9.8, then continue to 11%. Then the unfunded liability is increased also. So based on the projection, we projected the city in the next fiscal year 17-18, the total cost will be $4.5 million, which includes the miscellaneous group and the safety. And the impact won't start until 2018 and 19. So you did not see the big increase in the next fiscal year, which is the good news, because we still have the pension obligation to pay in the next fiscal year. So after next fiscal years, the impact will start. As you may see, it will start increase to 5.29 million, then 6.1 million, and then 698 million. Then by the 6 years, that is almost double, and that's the norm to all the city agencies. And in this day, when we attend the California Financial Officer Association conference or the local chapter meeting, and last agency expressed their concern, and most of them, they will have a double cost from the CalPERS pension obligations. And this, we assume there will be no COLA increase. The next slide, let me go use this one.
There you go.
The next slide, we assume with 2% COLA increase starting 2018 and 19. And the cost, you may see, and has changed. It increased from 5.2 to 5.4, then 6.2, 7.1 million, 7.8 million, and 8.4 million. The previous slide, and you see, is 8.2. And with that, and during my attendance with the California Financial Association conference, and a company present a software to show everybody, if you have COLA increase 1% or 2% or 3%, what will be the impact? And also, in the past, the City Council have asked me, if we pay additional $50,000 or $100,000 each year, or just within the next couple fiscal year, what will the impact? What will be the saving for the city? So today I invite the company here to present the program to us with the information I have provided to them.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
And this is Harry from Gulf Invest, and this is Nick, and they are going to take over.
All right, sounds good. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, gentlemen.
All
Now
right.
we can take over.
Now we can take over.
Yes.
All right, thanks. Do you want us to switch to get the software? We put the software up on the
Okay.
there, so we'll run through it. Just a little background. I'm guessing that you all don't spend your days and nights thinking about pensions and CalPERS all the time. That you have lives. So we'll spend a little. I'm going to spend a little time talking about what CalPERS is. CalPERS is the biggest pension fund in the country, the biggest public pension fund in the country. They do some things amazingly well. They are the most cost-effective pension fund in the country. The cost to administer it is tiny. They provide benefits to million public employees around the state. The tasks that they have to do are Herculean. They have actuaries on staff that project the costs. They have, because of their size, they do a lot of sophisticated analysis to try and project what's going to happen in the future. But the world is extremely unpredictable. especially in the short term. So in the short term, some of their analysis doesn't work. But what they try and do for each of the agencies around the state is try and figure out, of the employees that you have, how many of them will make it to get a retirement benefit, how much that benefit's going to be, how long those people will be living and continue to get benefits every month the rest of their lives, and then how much money you need to put into the plan each year in order to keep those promises that your city has made to your employees. The way the costs are set up, they get broken into two pieces. One piece is called the normal cost. That's the cost that you pay every single year. If you started making contributions back when everybody gets hired, you keep paying that amount until they retire. And if everything goes as the actuaries assume, that will pay for people's benefits for the rest of their lives. There is also another contribution that's made to the extent that you're off target, that things have gone better or worse, and in the last decade it's usually been worse than assumed, and you're a little behind target. You're supposed to have $10 million in the fund, but because the market's plummeted, you only have $8 million in the fund. You need to make up the difference. That difference is called the unfunded liability, and that gets amortized like a mortgage over a period of years. So the cost projections that we're showing up here, and our company, the calculations are complicated. When you change things, when you decide you want to pay early, the calculations tend to be complicated. When CalPERS announces that they don't think they can earn 7.5% interest every year into the future anymore because they're going to get more conservative in their assumptions or something else, calculating what the cost changes are complicated. But so they have highly paid consultants, they've got well-trained actuaries on their staff, but almost all those calculations are basically come down to math. And computers are really good at math. So we created software that matched a lot of what they do. Our software is continually being updated to get closer and closer to the models that they have and do a better job of projecting. But this does a pretty good job right now of letting you know what happens, what's going to happen over the next few years as CalPERS interest rate gets lower, as they lower their interest rate projections. So we're starting with showing you right here, and so our company developed the software with two goals. One is to be able to do this, to give you the power to do it yourselves, or give you the power to tell Rose to do it herself. The other thing is to try and take these complicated issues and make them a little easier by creating some sort of pictures that we hope tell the story a little better than staring at pages and pages of numbers.
Let me ask you a question. What is your association to CalPERS?
We are fans. We are not part of CalPERS. We are not state employees. We are an independent company that saw this need in the market that CalPERS is not filling, and we created software to match it. We have good relationships with the actuaries at CalPERS. We are constantly keeping up, knowing what's going on at CalPERS. But we're a private company. If you're upset at CalPERS, it's not my fault.
Now we tell them about the city's projections.
Right. So now, in doing this, part of what we have right here, you have some of your employees are sworn police officers and are in the safety plan. Some of your employees are not sworn and they are in your miscellaneous plan. We have both plans here. We can look at either of the plans separately. That's part of what the software does. If you want to focus just on one and see what the costs are, you have the ability to do that. Don't bother going to it, or you can look at the other. Fine.
You show them the miscellaneous plan. Yeah, you just have the 1.8 million. This is the miscellaneous plan that we have to contribute about 1.8 million. And then the safety. Now we can click on safety plan. Then about 2.59 together is about 4 million for the next coming fiscal year.
So I'm sorry, what is the 35 and the 31 that's going down? What is that percentage? Is that the percentage of contributions?
That's a percentage of payroll that you'll be paying towards each of those.
For each one of the employees?
Towards, on average for the employees.
On the average, okay, all right, got it.
So,
and we can also show you and the unfunded liability if, let's say, we decide to contribute $50,000 for the next 3 years or 5 years.
Right. We
What
mostly,
will be
our
the
software
savings?
mostly focuses on two different, basically the two things people focus on is how much do I have to put in now and how close am I to target. It's my unfunded liability. That's usually how far I'm behind target. So if we click liability, it shows you a picture. The blue, the teal, what we call it, it's your assets. And the line above is where your liabilities are, and the red is how far you are behind target.
So we're how far?
129?
Because I can't see it. Is that 535 million?
No, it's 53 million.
53 million.
Still a big
Okay.
number,
Yes.
but not nearly as big as 535 million. So you have about 182 million in liabilities, about 130 million in assets. So you're 50 million behind. And almost every agency back around in the late 1990s, almost every agency in the state was ahead of target. The stock markets had been shooting through the roof. CalPERS was assuming returns would be high forever. Everything was great. Then the market plummeted, leveled off, plummeted again, and then they became more conservative in their assumptions. Both those combination of things mean that right now, almost every agency in the state is behind target. It does not mean that your finance people have done anything wrong. It doesn't mean the city council has done anything wrong. It's just, the markets go up and down, and over time, we come back in here, 30 years from now, and you're all sitting there still, and talk about it again, it'll probably be way ahead of target. So right now, and that red part, the unfunded liability, is scheduled to be paid off, plus or minus, over the next 30 years.
Which one?
The red part,
Okay.
the 50 million you're behind, they have a series of payments. Don't bother projecting out too much. We can talk about it. So now CalPERS has announced. Right now we have in there in 2015, CalPERS used a 7.5% assumed discount rate for their future returns. They said that because of their investments, they're going to be moving down to 7. They're going to do it in a few steps. So for the 2016 valuation, which will be coming out soon, they dropped it down to 7.375% or 7.38. For the 2017 valuation, which is for the July 1, 2017 date, which will probably come out in September, October of 2018, they said they'll drop it down to 7.25. And beginning with the 2018 valuation, they're going to drop down to 7%. So to give you some quick picture of where you're going, we can drop the discount. Actually, before we drop the discount rate to 7%, I want to mention one other thing, and then we'll show it dropping to 7%. When Ms. Tam did her projections, she did them. CalPERS assumes, amongst other things, that across-the-board salary increases over the long term, over the next 30 years, for cities across the state will average 3% per year. It doesn't mean anything for any individual city or anything for the short term when inflation is low. So we have built in here 3% across-the-board increases, but we also have the ability to change that to say you want to do 0 and you want to do 2% just to match the numbers. So we preset, so we can show how this works, we preset 2% across the board pay increases for the next 5 years and put those in the numbers. And what that does, and you'll see that the costs go down a little bit, and if we look out, well, we didn't show what the costs were for a few years, for 5 years out, but
Let's say projected for 5 years out, with 2% increase.
so what we see go out to 2020, put that in 20 years. So we have more numbers there. What the software is showing, if I'm doing this right, this difference between these two lines, the top yellow and the bottom, is what the cost savings are from having a slightly lower. If salary increases are lower, people's pensions are going to be lower because they're based on salaries. Mm-hmm. So the amount paid out is less, which means the amount you need to pay in is less. So this shows the cost savings. Actually, this shows the liabilities. This shows the cost savings, what it costs.
Is that at a 1% cost of living?
It is,
One
we
or
put it
two?
as a 2%.
Oh, 2%, okay.
So it's a difference between 3 and 2.
CalPERS says 3, and he's showing you
Two.
Showing you 2. Now
Okay.
you can put in 0, you can put in 1. Some years inflation is going to be high, you'll be given 5% increases. The software just lets you do it, and the numbers pop up. So it gives you the power, without having to hire an expensive actuarial consultant, to run the numbers yourself and find out what the impact is going to be for the process. So we plugged in the 2% so that we can show this. Why don't we move the 2% over and make that the baseline? So, okay. So now the 2% is the baseline, and we can show, put the comparison mode on. We'll show what happens when we drop to 7% as the interest rate. And you'll see the costs start to go up. There we go. The costs have just gone up. So the costs, if we go out to 2021, you'll see that the costs have gone from 6.6 million up to 7.3 million. So they've gone by having the projected interest rate drop over the next few years. The amount you're going to have to pay is going to be going up because less of the money is going to be covered by investment return. More of it has to be covered by your contributions because the benefits themselves have been promised and they get paid. So they either get paid by investment returns or contributions. Since we assume the investment returns are lower, they go into contributions. So there's also the ability, once we start looking at that, let's reset, push this one to reset, and put this back to 7. Set that up as a new, and then make that comparison to one we're gonna make that the baseline. Okay. Now, if the other thing you might do, so what a lot of agencies are doing, and the state actually announced they're just going to be doing, is if they have a little extra money in their budget, they will make contributions early. Because effectively, CalPERS is now loaning your city the money at 7%. If you pay it off, you'll get some cash savings over the next 20 years. So if we plug in now, let's call it, they're in millions, so 0.1 million for each, so 100,000 for each of the next 5 years. What happens is the amortization payments you were making will go down, and why isn't it showing? Oh, because you're go to costs. Go to costs. It's showing that by putting in 100,000 over each of the next 5 years, your rates go down. You would be saving a total of 1.101 million on a cash basis over the next 20 years. So your payments will end out being lower than they would.
So just to clarify, if you make a 5-year investment of $100,000,
$100,000 each year,
You're
which is
saving-
half a million.
you're saving
$1 million by putting it in first. It's like pre-funding your mortgage. If you pay off your mortgage early, you save on all the interest that you would have had to pay on that. It's the same type of thing.
So I also asked them, I said, let's say we pay off the TOB in 18 and 19. So if you put in, let's say, just $500,000, additional $500,000 in
Instead of all
18,
these.
19.
So just
in
one
18.
payment. No, leave it.
Just
In one
in,
year.
Leave it there.
in
Leave
1
it there.
year,
Okay.
just change 18, 19 to
Just-
500.5. Yes.
Then the
So
1.01
we can show
million.
you how much is the total saving for the next 20 years. Just put in.
So by putting in that extra $500,000 right there, now by the extra 400,000, you've gone from 1.01 million to 1.82 million.
I want to amortization or someone.
Yeah. Right. It's like paying off your mortgage. It's saving all the interest payments. You also have the ability through this software to download. You see in the bottom there's a little thing that says download. If you want to put it onto spreadsheets, usually on every city council there's somebody who wants to see every single number all the way out. And so for those people, we've got this available so they can look.
Sounds good. Alrighty. Thank you very much.
So anyway, you have the software, you have access to it, and any questions you need to ask her at this point, should be able to answer more.
Thank you for the
This will
presentation.
be a
Thank you
very,
very much.
helpful tool
Yes.
to
Yes.
everybody.
Absolutely.
Like anytime city council decided, oh, I just want to test out, if we have $20,000 extra this fiscal year, after we finish talking about the budget, we put in $20,000 and then it shows you what will be the future saving.
Sounds good. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Thank you
Rose.
for coming.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Since we're with the CalPERS, when we meet again, could you please give me a copy of how many part-time employees we have? Because I didn't see anything in any of the stuff you sent us. That I saw the full-time employees, but I didn't see how many part-time employees we have. And how many of those are personal? If you please, and also, I know that in other cities, and I think I mentioned it to you a while back, Shannon, that I saw in the newspaper, and I think you sent me the article as well, that some of the cities, there were some cities that weren't able to pay their retirement, that instead of getting, say, $1,000, they were only getting $600 because they hadn't paid into the CalPERS. Is there any possibility that if we don't do any of this, that whoever retires, which would include council members, we might have short checks?
Yes. What you were talking about, I give you one of the city as an example that put in the article, loyalty. No, loyalty.
Yes.
What I said, loyalty. Talking about loyalty. And in January, because the city no longer can contribute to CalPERS, so CalPERS decided to cut everybody's retirement check to 60%. For example, if your monthly retirement check is $2,000 per month, it will become $800 a month, which is a huge difference because they can no longer contribute to CalPERS. So CalPERS just calculate based on what they have currently with CalPERS, so to calculate what they should get in and what's the percentage it can be cut. And actually it could happen to any city if they cannot contribute to CalPERS. It could affect everything.
And I think that was a good example where it was Detroit, Stockton,
Right.
Northern California, San Bernardino. I think what other city?
Yes.
Vallejo as well.
Yes.
During the recession.
Right. Shannon and I had passed along that message during our budget preparation time and all during the ET meeting time about this situation and the sample. So we caution everybody to watch on the spending and to not to spend anything is not necessary on is not critical. Because every city now they watch the CalPERS cost very closely because it's a very serious matter that can happen to anybody, affect to anybody.
And Rose, I know we've been talking about this for years now, especially with the unfunded liability.
Right.
And the thought was that when the public safety bond, that when that freed up, that we would start paying down
Right.
some of that unfunded liability, so
Yes.
that we don't experience that like balloon payment down into the future.
Yes. And also I try to put in $1 million in that program, and it could save us $4 million in the next 20 years when we pay off the POD bond. And I think it's a good method that we go and anytime we see a little surplus and put in, because affect all the employees, especially so many people have worked here over 10 years, 20 years, or 30 years.
And we have been building the reserves though, every year after year, correct?
We have, we're going to show you
The
a
fund
chart on
balance.
that, took a little dip, and we're trying to get it back pointing in the right direction.
All right, so let's get into the budget.
Yes.
Okay. So, yes, thank you for hearing us. I'm going to start out with a little summary. And to answer your question, Councilmember Baca, we do have a list of the part-time people.
Yes.
But we weren't, I'm not sure if Rose is going to share it tonight.
Right.
If not,
Doesn't
it
have
will
to be
be
tonight.
I
at
do-
one of the upcoming study
Sure,
sessions.
that's
or
fine.
budget.
We don't
I
have
do
to be
have
today.
that ready and
Okay,
printed.
that's fine, it doesn't have to be today.
But we did just want to give you all a summary of where we are with the budget because we're preparing for the public hearing in June. And if you go to the next slide. Just to talk about the reserve, we're trying to keep the reserve intact. Costs have risen this year faster than revenues. Many of the cost increases we've talked about are due to CalPERS pension and retiree health insurance as well as general insurance premiums. The good year is we've been able to keep the general fund stable this year. It will remain the same. We're going to be showing you a proposed balanced budget. However, we do need to keep in mind that in the future, we do need to keep increasing the reserve because, as you know, a good reserve is a percentage of your operating budget, and as we know, our operating budget each year creeps up, so we need to make sure that the reserve is keeping pace with it. Rose and I met with all departments to reduce this current budget by about almost $1 million, and we did that by keeping some of the positions vacant, and we were able to do that without cutting any of the vital services. We are looking ahead to future years. We've talked about bonds that are being paid off. We're looking at new revenue streams that may be available. So this is a tight year we need to get through, but it does seem like in the coming years there will be some additional revenue streams as well as the bonds paid off. So there's sort of some light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, and I think what we're experiencing right now too, Shannon, is the increases that we gave, right? And
Yes.
that's really what we're.
And you'll see that, in some of the upcoming slides. Go on one more.
Talking about the bond,
Yes.
I took other action right away, and tomorrow night you will see I'm going to present to you that there is other fund that affecting the general fund, which is the 2004 bond that when we issued that we use the money to build the community center or improve the Morgan Park. And tomorrow night you will see my presentation, which will save the city about $1 million in the next 17 years. So $60,000 additional will come back to general fund each year.
And the previous bond financing you just completed in future years, I think,
Yes.
is about $400,000 in savings.
Sales tax, yes, per year, coming back to the general fund.
Good.
Okay. And this is our fund balance history, and we had been able to bring it up pretty well up in 2015, and then you do see some of the impacts due to some of the salary negotiations and MOU increases. Because we're proposing in this budget tonight to balance our expenditures and our revenues, you see the projected fund balance for 17 and the future year 18 are the same.
Is this the reserve?
This is,
Yes,
yes.
the general
this
fund
is the
reserve.
general fund reserve. Approximately $7 million, and it's approximately 18% of our operating budget, which is considered where you want to be to have it be healthy. You want it
18%?
below that, correct. But again, costs are going to go up in the future, so in order to keep that 18% rating, we do need to make sure that we do keep general fund balance going up in the future years. Okay, the next slide, I think Rose, you're going to take over?
Yes. I'm going to present you the general fund revenues. And as you may see, the property tax due to the increasing of the housing price, and you'll see about $70,000 increase in the property tax, and you will see about $435,000 increase in sales tax that we just mentioned due to the refinancing of the four successor agency bond, which is the former RDA bonds, that we were able to reallocate the sales tax back to the city. And also you will see the TOT tax increase because of the Marriott Courtyard Hotel.
That's right.
Yes, their POA agreement expired this current fiscal year.
How
Wow.
long was that agreement in place? For like 25 years or something?
No, probably
It
less
wasn't
than that.
built because it
Yeah.
just.
About 20,
It
was
Right,
over.
it was built in
It
the
Yeah.
expired this.
Yeah.
It expired this year, so we
Okay.
received the second quarter TOT. Yes. So that's what the increase all about, and we project the utility user tax have a little increase. The reason you see license and permits decrease because the LA Fitness and Room project were completed. That's why the next coming year you might not see the same permit fee and things like that.
Is that why you have it in the negative?
That's why we have
It's
decreased.
a decrease from the previous year because that previous year had some large projects.
Yes.
If some unknown large projects came in during this next year, that would go up, but we're not anticipating any at this time. And so it's a conservative
So
estimate.
we're looking at the projected 2017-18 fiscal year.
Correct.
Yeah.
Rose, what about the
Yes.
franchise tax?
The franchise tax, we expect a small increase unless we have more business coming to town. However, we expect about $27,000 increase because of a couple of small business coming in town also, such as a couple business will be beer restaurant, Chipotle.
Oh, by elementary.
Yes,
Wow.
yes.
Sorry.
So
Jersey Mike's.
we kind of count that in, and the fines and penalty we expect some increase, and however the use of money and property you will experience some little bit decrease compared to the prior year because of the interest from successor agency mainly, and then a small decrease in the rental. But the big portion is from successor agency
Oh.
because you gain some and then you lose some. And any questions?
No.
I'm just talking about some big amount.
Can I ask one question?
Yes,
Regarding the bulletin display where we have a contingency?
yes.
Where is that actually put into here? That we don't know for sure we're going to get a bulletin display because it has to get approved by the state and they have to declassify
Right.
and all that.
Right.
So is the revenues for the bulletin in here or no?
Not yet.
Okay, I see.
Right.
How about the Harley
The
Davidson?
first year, once it's proved, the first year we get about $500,000. Then the following year, about $200,000 each year.
And did you put the Becker board in?
Yes, it's about $72,000. So it's included there. That's what causing the total increase of $511,000 in the new fiscal year revenue.
I have a question about where we landed in this fiscal year. I thought we would have started there and then gone into the next fiscal year for the proposed budget. Are we going to do that?
Yes, by the end of June, and every year when we complete the fiscal year audit, and then around March, then we will provide the city council the update, the ending fiscal year, the actual audit number, the actual expenditure we have, and the actual revenue once we finish the audit in December.
So what for comparisons are is to the current budget year on the assumptions that it's going to finish on track, because until the end of June and until she
Fiscal
does
year.
the audit, we won't have those exact numbers. So we're assuming it's ending on track based on the last mid-year budget presentation that she gave you. But she will come back with those numbers at a later time.
With the actual number.
All right.
And so here's the chart showing what is the percentage of the taxes. So the main revenue for the city of Baldwin Park mainly coming from taxes like property tax, sales tax, franchise tax, and
I saw
things
that
like
the
that.
utility users tax is
Yes.
0. Is that because now we're kind of supplementing that?
Also, we haven't
No.
increased that.
Yeah.
It's been 3% for
For
a
years.
long time.
Yeah, as long
Yes.
as it existed.
Yes, so that area
That's
doesn't
right.
change a lot. It kind of stable, stay the same. But the property tax and sales tax can go up or back.
Right.
Depends on the economy.
On this chart, the utility users tax is 8.7.
Um,
On the pie, yeah, on the next sheet that you have.
yes, because in this one we round it to 1 decimal.
Okay,
Yes,
on that one, see?
on that one.
So utilities users tax was 0 because the change was 0.
Well-
But this shows the percentage of what that is of the overall tax.
So this is 20.
That's breakdown in more details. Yeah, that one is by category. This one by type is
Okay.
break them down more.
Okay.
So is this 2016 or
This is-
2017, 18?
This is a projection for
Projection,
the
sorry.
next coming fiscal year, starting July 1st.
And the projection is about $27 million combined with all this, right?
Yes.
27 million?
Yes.
Or some- Okay, all right.
Yes, I can go back and
No, that's fine,
see
that's
the
fine.
total.
Yeah, yes,
See,
you
we
said 27,
project
yes.
the total.
27.5.
Okay.
Yes.
So we project that next fiscal year that we're going to have like $511,000
Increase.
in,
Yes.
And what?
in revenues.
Right, the
Increase.
last column is an increase or decrease over the last year. So
Okay.
The 511,000 is the projected increase over last year.
Okay. All right, go ahead. Sorry about that. I just, I never really did that. but,
So this is another chart to show you all what's going up and down, what stay the same, do not change much. Just like you say, the utility user tax is staying level and do not have much change there. But the sales tax has gone up because of that $400,000 reallocation. It's just a different way to show. So now I'm going to present you the general fund expenditures. And this is by department. And as you may see, each department, the last column showing increase or decrease. And if you have any specific question, feel free to ask me or interrupt me anytime. This showing all the costs by department.
Rose, I have
Any
a-
questions?
I do. I have
Yes.
a question. On the administration, it says it was decreased by 256,000.
Mhm.
But I noticed that on page 3,
Yes.
according to the city attorneys, they decreased by 299,000.
Mhm.
Does that include outside legal fees?
No, in this budget projection, we only include the city attorney's normal service costs.
Okay.
And
But where-
we did not include the outside attorney because we normally do that during the mid-year presentation because we cannot foresee any future litigation or any future additional legal services that the city need to have. So
It's a
in the,
variable.
right. So normally during the budget preparation or projection, we normally just include the city attorney's annual cost, estimate annual cost based on the past history.
Where do the outside legal services come in? Because there have been a lot that have been paid out. From what I understand,
Right.
it exceeds 300,000.
Yes, that's I can explain. As you may see, the 2015-16, the actual is 1.474 million, and our budget is 1.2 million. That's why it's about $200,000 or $300,000 different. And the amended budget 1.468 million. The amended budget That's when I came up with that number during the mid-year review, based on the current year legal fee that incur outside of the city attorney's normal billing.
Okay, so they're included in the administration for column
Yes.
17, 18, no, 16, 17?
Yes.
Okay.
And Rose, I think
Yeah.
also, is it true some attorney's fees are included in the non-departmental?
A very small portion. Yes.
Thank you.
Any question on this
No,
slide?
thank you.
It's good.
Well, let me just go back to
Oh, yes.
that one, not
Yes.
necessarily that, but in general, I know we can always get attorney fees, it's clumped together.
Yes.
Not now, but can you provide us with a breakdown of
Yes.
in-house
I-
and outside
Mhm.
counsel? Because I don't like to see them clumped together because it gives the illusion that everything
Mhm.
is what we're spending here, but
Right.
there's, like we have the MERF, the lawsuit, and we have all these
Yes.
other things. So I
Yes.
want to see the separation of in-house versus, outsourcing.
Right. Actually, in the budget book I provided, there's a line item says city attorney cost, that line item. And as I prepared the mid-year budget and the new fiscal year budget, I did think about it. In the new coming fiscal year, I'm going to create a new account to call outside legal services, something like that, separate with the city attorney's billing, so it can show a clear picture
Yeah.
what's outside legal services cost.
Because like right now,
Yes, I
know
agree with you.
The MERF, it keeps going and going and going.
Right.
And so at some point, we have to see how much it's costing us so
Yes.
we can separate and be
Yes.
able to see how much that is.
Right.
But thank you for tuning in.
Yes, actually, in my detailed financial system or report, and I set up a project number to separate them, that I can always provide you the detailed information by vendor payment history or by project number. To set up a project number for the MERF legal fee.
Oh, I
Right.
see. Good.
Because that would, it would be helpful because I know we requested information about like the lawsuits, like the Lily Hansel lawsuit, how much that has cost us. And
Yes.
so having that breakdown would be very helpful.
Yes.
And
Actually,
it
we,
would save you all time.
yes, we actually with the new software program coming up, I think in the future I will be able to provide something similar like just you saw from the CalPERS program, that it can show the pie chart by vendor, things like that. Shall we wait for the mayor?
There you go.
I think he should be back soon. So we just show you the pie chart for now. That's showing the percentage per department with the total expenditure. So this is by category. And as you may see under the capital project, it has a small amount. And normally the capital project are allocated with the special revenues. For example, we're using the gas tax to do a street project and things like that. That's why you don't see huge amount under the capital project in the general fund.
And we will be coming back also separately with the capital improvement budget for the current year and then planning for the next 4 years very soon, using mostly the special funds like Rose mentioned.
Rose, well, the mayor is, before he comes back, where do the funds go for, like, donations or grants or so forth? How do they get factored into the general fund, or do they go into the general fund? For the different departments, like Public Works, Parks and Recreation, the police department, they get grants
Right.
to pay for certain things.
We have a small amount in general fund. However, we create a fund called 501, which is the trust fund. Most of the time, donation money will go to that fund, because donation money we treat it as not the assets of the city. So we put it in the trust account or trust fund.
What's paid out of that 501 fund?
We sometimes like certain recreation event might use that account.
The Santa Claus. Is that what we do then?
Yes.
But the Santa Claus, don't they belong to that nonprofit?
However,
Is that part of the nonprofit, the
I think the
501?
donation.
Uh,
I think the donations that we get for the most part go into the nonprofit.
yes.
Although there
However,
is some
we
revenue,
subsidize
yeah, and there is-
because sometimes we don't have enough money going to that account, that we use those donation money that we have collected in the past to subsidize the difference.
So she might
And
also.
I can provide you a detail if later on you
Yeah,
want to
could you
see a
please, so
detail
that I can
of
see that?
what account,
Okay, thanks.
what accounts are in the trust fund.
Thank you, okay.
Rose, I think she might be referring to the restricted funds also. When you
Yes.
mentioned grants,
Mhm.
restricted fund.
No, I didn't.
Outside of the general fund.
I think you're talking about the charitable relief.
The charitable,
Yes.
the charitable, which is the new nonprofit,
Right.
which is the new nonprofit.
Yes.
Which was set up so that it could be the Santa's Claus.
Yes.
And now it seems like the money for the Santa's Claus is coming out of a different fund instead of coming from the donations that are given to that particular charitable foundation.
Right. Actually, we use all the donation money that go into that nonprofit
Right.
account,
Mhm.
and anytime we have shortage, then we continue to use in the past, some donation money going to the 501 account in the past, and we still have balance sitting there.
But I would like to see what gets paid out of there.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So the next slide, we are going to show you the detail of transfer out from the general fund to help out the other project or program. For example, the park maintenance fund 252, and annually the general fund contribute some portion to assist with that fund, and also the Park A Park Fund. And in the past, we received about 50,000, 60,000 from that fund, and then the city will contribute the difference to have all our city employees, for example, public work, to maintain the park. And the summer lunch program, the city always subsidize with that program. Also, the COP lease payment, and which is the bond that we issue to build the community center for the Morgan Park improvement, the art center across the city hall, and that's the one that I'm going to present to the city council tomorrow night for possible saving. So that's all the transfer out that from the general fund. Any questions? No question?
No.
Rose,
Yes.
really quick, sorry. The summer lunch, I thought we paid some of that with CDBG also. CDBG?
Yes.
Oh, we did, okay.
Yes, we pay part of that from
Okay.
that. And so here's the pie chart showing what is the total percentage of the personnel costs, maintenance, and transfer out as such. And so here's the general fund summary for the next coming new fiscal year. We have revenue. We're expecting to receive $27.5 million for revenue, and expenditures and general fund $28.8 million. And so we projected the $1.2 million deficit, as Shannon and I have mentioned before. And during the budget preparation, we met with all the department heads, and we have cut across the board for about 3%. And also, these management savings, they all came from the unfilled and vacant position, including certain positions and the position from the PD and 3 vacant position and 6 frozen position that we haven't filled. And certain, I don't know if you want me to
Are those
name all
listed
the
there?
details.
Are they listed
Um,
there in this report?
They
It
are
should
In the green one. Towards
Yeah.
the, yeah, it's in the front.
Here, like we will say, the very first and second
Did
page.
I
you,
don't have it.
It was delivered to us in our packet last
Oh,
week.
that's in my copy. That's fine. I
we
don't-
can email you copies.
Yeah.
So we did
What
this
come
year.
up with that?
We provided
1.2
the
million.
detail of all the positions, and it notes whether they're funded or not, or if they're
Okay.
frozen.
Okay.
I can email you this.
No, that's okay then. I have it in my packet materials.
So that saving, including the public work director and a portion of the benefit saving from the interim HR manager and interim police chief, and also
Community development.
yes. Also, I haven't failed my previous position, the accounting manager over there provide saving. And I fill it with the assistant accounting manager and provide about $40,000 saving there. And also we have a position from housing, but that's will affect the special revenue and other fund, not really the general fund. I can email you the detail what come up with that
Well, that's
1.2.
okay. It's in the packet, right?
I
Is it in the
can,
packet?
I can go over real quick the
I was wondering
proposed
where
salary
we get-
savings and the
okay.
positions. So from finance, there's 1 accounting manager, police officer, there's 8 that are frozen. Lead code enforcement officer is frozen. Building official is frozen. Senior housing specialist, housing programs coordinator, and 1 maintenance worker.
So for the police department, I know we had already reduced it by about 8 positions back in 2013 or 14.
Mhm.
That put us at about 69, so now we're proposing an additional 8 be frozen.
No, those are,
It's same.
those are the same.
They're the
Actually,
same.
last year 9 were frozen.
Okay, so they're the same, they're not additional.
Right.
Okay.
Correct.
That only means that there's 8 positions that we will not fill.
Correct.
That doesn't mean that we're down
We're
8
not
officers.
reducing, correct.
So next. So we also want to present it to you that those programs that we had in the past were not included in the new fiscal year proposed budget. And if the city council would like to put them back, and we also show you what would be the cost to the general fund. The first one is stay of the city address. Second one is Halloween feast. Halloween fest. The third one is celebrate Baldwin Park parade.
I think before we even consider this, because I saw that the police department is 71% of the general fund, I'd like to understand, I know that we froze the 8 positions for a savings,
Mhm.
and that makes sense.
Yes.
But my question is, what are we doing as far as overtime? And is it really a savings, or what's happening there? How can we get an analysis of that? Because that's a significant amount compared to these pretty much pennies, you know, in the big picture.
I think Rose could give you a detailed
Yes.
account. Generally, the overtime is less expensive because you're only
The
paying
benefits.
salary, you're not paying all of the benefits, you're not paying medical, and some of those other, and PERS, and that type of thing.
Okay.
And I also saw on
But we
here,
can get you a
A comparison.
yeah,
Yes.
because the next biggest expense is the $4 million for Parks and Recreation. I saw that Parks and Recreation is $4 million, and I know that according to the pie chart, it's only a small percentage as far as the police department, but nevertheless, that's also a department that is very expensive.
That's the slide you were talking about.
Yes, exactly. The 4 million, is that, let me put my glasses on.
Yeah, 4 million.
3.95.
Yes. So that's also a huge.
You want to see a detail,
Yes, please.
what makes up that 3.9 million?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
So next, and so normally during the budget workshop, we normally just provide in the past the past practice, and normally you will present it to the general fund. So at this time, I would like to insert the special revenue and other fund fiscal year. They're showing you that all other special revenue, what is the expecting revenue we are going to receive, and what will be the expected expenditure we are going to have. So with the special revenue and other funds, we have about 1.5 million surplus. However, put in mind, like I noted at the bottom, the department head and E-team will come back with the proposed CIP project with the special revenue and other funds. So this 1.5 million probably will be spent on a special project or street improvement, things like that.
What about restricted funds for those types of projects? Are we anticipating a significant amount for the next year? Or I know that there was a gas tax increase.
Yes. Actually, I believe my staff print out with all the special revenue. The special revenue, I think they not that one.
This goes. We do have a sheet, I'm not sure we have it here. It has the fund balance for all funds.
So it will be too much information put it on PowerPoint.
I see.
Yes. And I will provide your copy also.
Thank you. Did you want one? Thank you.
So in my PowerPoint, I just show the summary.
I'll take one more.
Yes.
Oh, good, because this has all the, this has all
So
the
that has all the
propositions.
details,
No,
all the
but-
funds.
Okay.
Only one, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And this doesn't include, I got a thing from, what are it, some Steve Samoan, that I guess the police department got a $40,000, or will be getting a $40,000 grant. That's not in here, right? Yes, because it hasn't been received?
Correct.
Okay.
Does that get tossed under 501?
No, that
No.
will be under either 270 or 271.
Oh,
Grants
police
and
grants,
fund,
got it.
police
Yes.
grants.
Anybody would like can only get the contest.
Two.
Thank you.
Total 43 million.
No, this is good.
Good stuff, that's right there.
Where's 501 on here, Rose?
Yes, 501 and will be on the
And then on the second one.
501.
I think it's missing a page.
I don't think it's here. Because it goes from 301 right there to 600.
Sorry about that. Oh, we skipped 501.
Oh, so we're missing a page?
No, just that fund. Because after 300, then we
It goes
will
to
have
six.
the 6.
We can add it in.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Well, this is good. Thank you for sharing this, Rose. What about the special fund that we created for the olive oil?
It's
Where-
210, Fund 210.
Yeah, it's actually, the fund balance is 366,000.
Up here, Mom.
Yeah, this only shows
I see.
Proposed revenues and expenditures in excess. It doesn't show the fund balance, but we will get to that. So that fund balance is about 366,000, and we're due the second payment of the same amount. I think it's in August.
Okay, yeah, the reason why I ask about it is because of the capital.
We received that check, we have set that money and set up the new fund, which is for 210. We have about, just like Shannon said, $380,000 there.
Because that was earmarked specifically for that.
Yes.
That's why it's called enhancement fund.
Right.
So of these restricted funds, in addition to the community enhancement fund, which like the gas tax, will that go to the CIP?
Yes. Yes. Gas tax, Prop A and C, Measure R, Measure M, some of the park fees, some of the community fees.
And we'll be getting some Measure H come
Yes.
July 1. It hasn't been decided exactly. I heard a figure of 3.3 million, but I don't know.
Divided or 3.3 for us?
For us, for the city of Baldwin Park.
Very nice. All right.
Measure H. And that will be ongoing every year.
So even with these restricted funds, and we still anticipate using the 1.5 million for the CIP?
I'm sorry.
Even with these restricted funds, we anticipate using 1.5 million share of the CIP?
It may be even more. Yeah, it may be more.
All right, let's go.
Okay. Next.
Oh, no.
Finally, yes, we want to thank all the department heads and their staff, the finance staff, and the interns. The preparation of this proposed budget reflects their hard work, dedication, and commitment. Finally, we want to thank the Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council for their continued support and directing the financial affairs in a responsible and professional manner. And last,
And I want to interrupt and thank Rose
Yes.
and her
Yes,
staff
excellent.
specifically
Thank
because
you.
they put in a lot of time on this and they come in on the weekends to get this done. So I wanted to
Thank
thank
you.
her and her staff.
Thank you very much. Excellent work.
Well, quickly, can you explain the housing authority? I'm just trying to figure out the
Yes.
difference, the 22,000 negative balance on the voucher. What is that difference? 901.
yes,
Account.
yes, and with that, based on all the costs and expenditure and personnel costs, and with the projected revenue coming from the housing fund, we expected to have a shortfall of the $22,000. However, we will continue to monitor that throughout the year, see if we can cut a little bit more in other areas that is not affecting any staff.
So total everything 54 million, 600 for 2018.
You can feel free to always email me questions, and I will be more than happy to answer. And the last slide is we welcome any
Question?
suggestion, directions.
Good job.
Very nice, thank you.
Excellent. Good. Keep us up.
Thank
You know, we look at it compared to West Covina, that's done, really,
Oh my God.
you know, they're having some major cutbacks over you guys, big time.
Yes.
They also control their fire department.
That's right, that's
They
wrong.
do.
You're right.
We
Yeah,
try
yeah, yeah.
very hard. We work with all the department head, and like previously we expecting about 1 million deficit.
Wow.
We met with everybody each day, and to have a cost for 3% cut. And we continue to send out the message about the CalPERS pension cost.
Let me ask them about the CalPERS, the state.
Yes.
We're still at 350 with the police department, am I correct?
3% 50 for
Yes.
the classic employees.
For the right?
The new employees are on the
The
new.
3 at 55?
The new one is 3 at 55.
Okay.
You are right.
Okay.
And their contribution is 11.5%.
So when does the new ones start with the new officers that are coming in recently, or is that when are
Any
they?
new officer hired after the date, help me, Rose, it was around
2012.
2000.
Yeah. Well, okay. All right.
So
all right.
any new employee that comes
They
in
went
is
on a
under that
3
new
at
system.
55.
Yeah,
Plus-
unless they previously working for other city or other agency,
That
they
makes sense.
already in CalPERS.
So, but eventually with the turnover and over time, in
Right.
a number of years, all the employees will be on that.
Okay.
CalPERS.
And
Which will save the city a lot of money.
And the staff are at 3 at, I mean, what's that? 2.7 at 55.
Which is the
55.
miscellaneous of
Right.
all of us except the safety employee.
exactly.
However, now the city majority, like all of us, are classes, including the city council. So we want to continue to be conservative and make sure we have continued to monitor all the expenditure
Okay.
and seeking for more revenue source to keep a healthy fund balance. As you may see, after 6 years, our CalPERS cost might be double, just like any other city.
Absolutely.
You can see the projection would go up to 8 million.
But okay, what's that other fund that we're finishing out 2018? Remind me the one that we're applying the bond.
There is the gas tax will be paid off in 18-19. However, the gas tax indirectly affecting the general fund, because if we can free up $600,000 in gas tax, means we can have more funding source to do other things related to street improvement, things like
But
that.
wasn't there another one I'm talking about?
The hotel?
Referring to
No.
the public safety.
Yeah, the public safety one.
Yeah.
There's that
Yes,
one that.
about
that
Pension obligation
okay,
bond.
that we finished paying that up next year, right?
In
One more
18-19.
Okay, because I know I've been saying this for the longest time. Because how much is that's being paid? Is that a million something?
1.89 million.
Okay, 1.89 million. Because as I mentioned before, we need to really look at this long term, everyone. And
Right.
of course, the 355 helps a lot. Is to invest that on the unfunded
Unfunded
library.
liabilities,
That 1.8 should go on that area. I mean,
I
because
absolutely
if we look
agree
at
with
that
you.
as potential negotiation for an increase, we're gonna be in big trouble long term, 20, 30 years from now.
Exactly. That's why I want to show you that program. And I was going
Yeah,
to
I like
put
that.
in 1.8 million. So if you change right away, even you put the 1 million, it saves you 4 million for the next 20 years.
But
If you put in the 1.6, it might save you 6 to 7 million. For long term, it's very critical that we watch CalPERS and have a healthy fund balance there, because most of the employees here, including city council, will be impacted by that.
Oh, absolutely. We definitely make
Because the paper employee won't come until later on. We still have lots of employee working at the city, might not retire in the next
Yeah.
10 or 20 years. So,
Oh, no.
but the people who work here for a long time, or like city council, or like lots of PD people, they will be impacted the most if we don't keep a healthy fund balance, or if we don't pay down the unfunded liability.
Exactly. I mean,
And
it's-
so they call us plastic is a nice way of calling us old, is that what?
Yeah, I don't want
The old ones.
right. So
Use the
I
term
don't want
classic.
to see that happen to our city.
Yeah, exactly.
So I will continue monitor the general fund and other fund to make sure we can meet.
And I just want to end by thanking you, especially thanking all the staff members, all the department heads that participated
It's a
in
lot
making
of
this,
hard work.
because this is excellent. And again, I hate to compare the neighboring city, because I was just talking to one of the council members, they may go into tougher times over West Covina, despite, of course, much more wealth, but the fact is
Yes.
that they're going through some major.
In addition, we don't have a big mall here or
Yeah.
auto dealership.
Exactly.
So you are right. We, with all the hard work of all the staff and the city council support, actually we are doing really well
Yes, we
compared to
are.
other cities.
I also wanted to mention, I know you said, we need to be careful about our expenditures.
Yes.
But the reality is that this is a structural issue that we're facing. And that 1.8 million for the pension obligation, I mean, we saw it in your first slide
Right.
for the miscellaneous and the
Yes.
public safety employees, how those numbers are growing every year.
Mhm.
So, by really being careful about that money that's freeing up
Yes.
in 1819.
Right. Actually, I did some analysis. I factor in that 1.89 million for the next 6 years of the average increase. Even I factor in that 1.89 million. By the end of year 6, we need to come up with 2.3 million extra
So-
to meet the 8 million CalPERS increase.
So, okay, that scenario is putting the 1.8 million towards our unfunded liability for
Yes.
6 years.
It will dramatically reduce our future unfunded liability.
Yeah, that's something
I
that
think
we
with the
seriously
city
It's been saying that for a long
council's
time, yeah.
consideration, and I support that. I agree with that. It will help out everybody to pay down the unfunded liability, not have to use the 1.89 million again.
It's everyone's
The next
retirement.
time is- Yes, affect everybody here,
Yeah.
and not just affect everybody. It affect the city overall, citizen, everybody. If the city use the money, plan the money wisely, it affect everything overall.
Open up the closed session then.
Yeah, we have one item on closed session.
Right,
We
exactly.
need
All
about
right.
2 minutes.
Okay, so at this point, we're going to go into a closed session. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
I want to thank all the staff that's over there.
Yes.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Yes.
Muchas gracias.
Oh, you didn't want it.
I'm sure
You
they
don't want-
do.
Thank you.
There's 83%
Mark.
Latino.
Mark, it always says-